minutes. So welcome to the webinar about NodeHive Headless CMS. Short agenda, what we'll cover today. Today we will cover what is actually a headless composable platform. I will go a little bit deeper and go beyond what a typical CMS provides and what's the difference. Also, I will then explain how you can run multiple websites from one backend. Ultimately, I will show a live demo of NodeHive Headless CMS. And at the end, we have time for questions and answers. And by the way, I'm also monitoring the comments on YouTube. So you should find a chat window on the right. So whenever you have a question, you just ask. I try to answer them. And anyway, at the end, that question and answers, I will check then and try to answer them as good as possible. A little bit about myself. I'm Lucas. I'm the founder of NetNode and NodeHive. NetNode is a digital agency. We are located in Switzerland, and we are a team of 14 digital specialists, and we are using Drupal since many, many years. So we have a lot of experience with Drupal, but also since maybe 3 years now, we are focusing on headless decoupled projects. And that's why we also started the NodeHive product. So NodeHive for us is a lot of experience baked into the product, combination of Drupal knowledge as well as front-end knowledge. Yeah, but let's start now. What is actually NodeHive? I already started to explain a little bit. So NodeHive is a headless CMS. And it's not only headless, it's a composable platform that serves as your central commerce, marketing, and communication hub. To say it simply, it's everything you need to run multiple websites from one backend. And you see the screenshot, and you already see here 4 different websites powered by one NodeHive instance. I will go in more detail how that works in the demo. The technology behind, I already said that we are using Drupal as a foundation. We use Drupal tools like the JSON API that comes out of the box, and our preferred solution for the front end is Next.js. This sounds a little bit technical, but it's very important if you decide to go to a specific direction with your technology stack that you use the best and the greatest of the technology. And for us, and that's really our philosophy, everything is open source. So Drupal as well as Next.js as a platform is open source. So you don't have to pay a license for it. So you can install it wherever you want, and you can even run it in your own cloud if you want to. Features of NodeHive, we have a wide variety of features. We divide them in 3 categories. One we call content management apps. This is the ones you see here. We also have AI apps, and we have integration apps. I will quickly explain a couple of the content management apps. For example, we have Spaces functionality. The Spaces is used to create multiple content spaces. You can think of a space as a website or a different channel. Then we have other tools like the web forms, so you can capture web form data from your front ends. I will also demo that. Another functionality is dashboards. So NodeHive comes with configurable dashboards. I will also demo that in the later in the webinar. These features are always expanding. So if you use NodeHive and our SaaS product, you immediately get the latest developments, and you just get what we are working on and all the innovation that's happening. What is our philosophy in the end of NodeHive? And our call to action to you or to organizations which want to adopt NodeHive is, we say, scale your digital ecosystem. What does that mean? As an agency from NetNode, we see kind of a pattern today with larger brands. So basically, your problem is lots of organizations struggle to quickly develop advanced digital experiences in a rapidly changing online environment. Maybe this resonates with you. For example, adding new features is slow and expensive. Also, if you manage content, you probably have to log in multiple systems. You have maybe one WordPress site, maybe you have another solution on the other side. And if you want to change something and keep everything in sync, it's not so easy to do. Also, creating content is cumbersome. You struggle with that. So there are many reasons, a lot of problems you maybe have, maybe you don't have, but actually what you need now, these days in 2024, is you need a solution that is adaptable, scalable, and flexible to match your evolving needs. What does that mean? For example, it means managing multiple sites from one backend. It also means that you have streamlined your content creation process, also that you have flexible content management tools. So not only you always need an agency to do it, but you can actually do it yourself. So low code, no code approach is here very important. Also, what you want is you want AI to support you while creating content. And NodeHive is built on that assumptions. To make it a little bit more concrete and what we are talking about, so NodeHive as a backend solution, as a content management system, as a headless system, can serve multiple front ends. This is a very common use case. So, for example, you have your corporate website. Maybe you show there some corporate content about us, products and services, and maybe you get some inquiries. Also, if you're a larger company, maybe you want something like a carriers microsite where you publish your jobs, carriers info, or about your company culture. Typically, or oftentimes, this is run in a complete different siloed application. And the goal of NodeHive is to have one backend to run that content from one backend. It can even go on. For example, you want to create a product microsite where some specific product information is only shown on a marketing landing page for a product or for a product line. Obviously, you also want to get inquiries on orders from that microsite. Maybe you also want to show some content from the corporate site, like about us information on the same product microsite. Maybe you have a yearly event and you also need an event for that, an event website for that. Also, you want to show conference info, product info, again, maybe similar content from the products, all run from one backend. So you see a little bit the power of where we want to go with NodeHive and what NodeHive can provide already today. Of course, this is a simplified example, and I want to show you a little bit more complex example. Why I show that? I show that because this is the reality when you work in a digital team, right? So it's not just one website and one single project. It's always integrated in a much wider array of applications where you have to think about how everything is connected. And this is exactly what I mean when we say NodeHive is a composable headless platform. I will explain it now. So what you see again here, NodeHive is in the center and is kind of the orchestrator of the front ends and also of backend systems. So NodeHive provides the spaces feature. Yes, you can create multiple front ends. You can decide what content goes to what front end application. Also, you can capture data using web forms. You can also offer commerce applications, so basically make a transaction through NodeHive. And Well, this is an example for a service platform, which the service platform goes to B2C and also B2B businesses, plus additional microsites. So, for example, again, here we have the corporate side, which is more related to P2C. So we show about info, maybe some content marketing efforts, products and services, and obviously people can do inquiries. Then we have a portal. So there is a frontline target group where they need the portal to basically manage orders and also to show my status of the order, for example. But also we need a partners portal. So here we have a list of the projects that's going on. We have custom pricing. So depending on who you are, business to business, you get a different pricing information from the backend. And obviously, these people can also push borders. And now that's interesting. So where is this custom pricing coming from? Probably you have something like an ERP or a CRM or a PIM, some custom database where this data is stored. So now we have the ability to load this data from the front end directly to the backend system, and everything is orchestrated with NodeHive. And then again, in this example, we have microsites, product one, summit one, as I showed before. Also, and that's also not very common because it's hard to do, but NodeHive offers that out of the box, is access to whatever data you want to share to the public through an API to third parties. This could be to another app. This could be to whatever system you want to show the data. A very common use case is, for example, we have an event directory, upcoming events, and we also want to show these events in a kiosk TV. So, for example, in the office, you have a TV on the wall, and you want to show that data. So you need a way to offer this data through an API to a third-party system. Yeah, so in summary, what I want to present here, NodeHive is the orchestrator which integrates additional microservices, you could call it, from the backend, and then acts as a backend to multiple frontends. This is basically the same thing, but with labels. So again, NodeHive is the headless core platform providing spaces, AI, visual editing, web forms, commerce tools, much more, integrating microservices from the backend, and then serving multiple front ends in the front. Yeah. So this is the headless core composable platform architecture. I talked a lot now, and now I want to demo NodeHive, and I have two small use cases. So first is I just log in as an editor, and yeah, I look around. I make a couple of changes, create some content, and yeah, so you see how that works. And as a second space, I will create a new frontend. So if we take this example here, so basically I will create a carrier's landing page, and then you see how easy it is to build that. For that, I go to our demo instance. So this is demo.nodehive.app. And now I'm able to log in here. When I logged in, I see the dashboard. So I'm now on the dashboard. And I already see the Green Bowl restaurant websites. So our demo instance is a restaurant chain. They run multiple restaurants. I'm located in Lucerne. Obviously, they also have a restaurant in Lucerne. And one of our employees is from Barcelona. So we also invented the Green Bowl Barcelona. This is all fictional. Then we have other restaurants all around the world. Also, the Green Bowl restaurant is organizing the vegan conference in 2024 called Menta. And we use multiple websites to do that communication and marketing efforts. And that's why NodeHive is the solution to do that. So now I want to see how my sites are doing. I can do that by clicking here on the preview. So I open up that rather quickly. So very streamlined setup. I have the dashboard preview content. So when I go to preview now, I'm now on the site. This is a rough demo site, the Green Bowl Lucerne. Also, I can then switch between multiple sites. For example, I can open up the VeganCon website. I can browse that. I can also open up the Green Bowl Berlin website. Then I also want to check how that looks on mobile. So I have some preview tools. And then I can also, for example, say, let's go back to Lucerne. And then I want to change the order of the menu here, for example. So I do that by clicking here on the edit. Now the sidebar opens up. I have here the menus. Now I say about us is much more important. So I just do that. I hit save. And then you see it immediately changed that. I can then close the sidebar again and browse again on the website. Now when I browse, I see, oh, there is actually a typo. So bowl should only have one L. And by the way, the menus, because the Green Bowl is offering veggie menus, and the same menu is provided in all our restaurants. So I go to Barcelona site. I also go to the menu. You see, it's using the same content. The menu page is shared between those two websites. So when I change the L here, it will also change on the left side. So I will do that. So just remove that here, hit save. Now it's immediately updating, or it should immediately update. It's demo effect. Let's go back to the Lucerne site. And voila, the L is now removed, as well as on the, oh, here not. Just do a refresh here. For some reason now this doesn't work. But let's go back to Lucerne. And now what I want to do, I want to add a new section, right? So for example, I want to add an additional block here. So for this, I edit the homepage by clicking here. Again, this is opening up the sidebar. And here I have my elements. I can also change the order of the elements if I want to. I can also change the header information. But actually, what I want to do is create a new content. And then I say here, join our team. And then just whatever test content. Then I hit save. And now you see it's immediately updating here on the left side. You get the concept. So that's the core idea. You browse within your NodeHive instance. You have the sidebar, it opens up. You can then drag and drop stuff. You can add new elements, and the front end is updating immediately. So a very convenient way to manage multiple websites from one backend. Let me check what I wanted to show. Yes, so now I also want to show just creating a complete new content. For this, I have several options. I can just go through the good old content overview by creating add content. Here I have multiple content types I can assign. Another way is context-based. For example, I want to create new content on the Green Bowl Lucerne. Then I can hit the space dashboard. So basically, this is an overview of all the contents in a list form on the space overview, basically. And you also see here, we have multiple menus which are connected. I can also change stuff here. For example, I can do the About Us back, that's the one I did before. And then it's immediately updated also in the visual editor. But now I want to create a new page. So let's say I want to create base, and now I say jobs, and then whatever job information I want to, whatever job information I want to share here. I also want to select an image. So let's take this nice salad here. And then to fulfill that, I also need to set the header information. So this is the jobs page. So now I have a first draft. And then what's important here, I can connect this specific content to multiple spaces. And so this job I want to show only on the Green Bowl Lucerne, because this specific job is only for the Green Bowl Lucerne restaurant. But I could also say, let's publish that here and here and here. So it's very easy to create content and syndicate it to multiple front ends. This is very convenient if you want to share, for example, events or employee information or whatever marketing campaign information that you want to share on multiple channels. Then I also want to provide a menu link. So I do that. Now I select the Green Bowl Lucerne. We used to call it Green Bowl Lille. Now it's Lucerne. So I hit save. And now I get a structured overview in the backend. So I see I already created this paragraph, no teaser information, that's fine. So now I also want to publish that content. Now it's published, and now I can also see it in the front end. I do a quick refresh, and you see this job information is now available. And from here, I can just go on editing that content the way I want to. You get the concept. So that was creating content through the space dashboard, where you have the context of one space of one front end. Now I want to demo the dashboard a little bit more, because we think this is very, very powerful. So for example, we have here now the overview tab. So this is where I am now. Here I can also create custom dashboards, and I created one for the HR department. So I'm now, for example, an HR person, would log in, and then I created this dashboard which shows the current open jobs. I can also create a new job, and then I also see the latest web form submission. So I see, for example, Mary Rose was interested in a job. I can also go directly to the web form detail page if I want to see the details of the submission. I also get a little bit of statistics here. So for example, I see in March 24, there were 3 submissions in the web form job application. So very easy, very convenient to use. We call that micro applications, which you can build yourself. So creating a new dashboard is super, super simple. Another very great feature of the dashboard is around content planning. So there is a content planner, a calendar-based content planning tool built in. And for example, you can basically plan ahead and back. You can see what happened in February. And let's say we plan a blog post series in April about vegetables and recipes. So here I have now the ability to create new content. For example, I can say on the 8th of April, I want to publish a new article, and I can say, vegetable recipe 1, just leave everything empty. And then I also say, okay, I want this to be published on the Green Bowl Berlin, and I just save it as a draft. And now you see we have that recipe here. So let's do a second one, recipe 2. Let's just make that up now to show the functionality. So that's cool. And then also I say, oh, actually, I want to publish it not on Monday, but actually on Friday. So I can simply drag and drop that content. And then, yeah, it's there. And that's very powerful because from here, I can also then start a visual editor and actually building that page, even if it's unpublished. And then once the publishing date will be there, it will be automatically published. So very powerful. There is also a way to filter this stuff. So I can say show only the jobs. Now it doesn't show anything. That's very powerful. Then also you can plan by week, for example. So you can go back and forth, and then you again see the recipes. So you can also then plan within a day. So based on the time, will be published on a specific time. That's powerful. You can even go further and just open up one day. So this is specifically interesting if you have a lot of content. And then also we have a Kanban style of content overview. And here, for example, again, I see my recipes, and I can also say show only contents that are attached to me, for example. And then I see what are my to-dos in that sense to work on from a content perspective. So very powerful content planning features. Yeah, that's about content planning. There is much more to tell, but this is the base information I wanted to show at the moment. One quick explanation on the content tab. You have access to, well, the contents, files, areas, fragments, and media. Just want to demo media at that point. So you have a nice grid overview of your media files. You can also upload new media files, whether it's an image, a remote image, a video, or even a document. So you have a centralized media manager built into NodeHive. That's what a typical editor would do on a daily basis. Log in, check the dashboard, create a new job, create new content, or edit existing content with the sidebar. Very convenient, very fast to do. Now I want to demo how can we create a new space, a new front-end page. So now I talked a lot about these career pages and jobs. So now I actually want to create its own space with its own career overview, or basically landing page. So for that, I log out. Now I log in as a user with more user rights. Again, I have the dashboard, and you already see I'm now able to configure the dashboard. I will demo that in a minute. But now what I want to do is I want to create a new space. So you see I already have a lot of demo spaces, but now I create a new one. And let's call that Careers microsite. Here I want to use, let's say I want to use the base page. I also want to use jobs. Yeah, that's it. Then I also want to invite the editor so that he's able to access that space. And the front-end URL will be called, and now I prepared that so I can demo it. I run it on localhost. Then also the space type is a website. I won't explain that today, but there's several ways how you can use a space. So now I want to use it as a website. Then I hit save. And now I'm here, and you see I have now the ability to create jobs and base pages, but no content yet generated. Also, there is no menu attached to that space. So I do that. So I go to configure menus. I already created this career page menu. Here I already added two small links. But then I say this career menu is connected with the carriers microsite. So I hit save. Now I go back to the dashboard. I also want the carrier microsite to appear here. So I do that. I just add that at the very end, enable that carriers microsite. And now I want them to line up on one line. So I want 6 columns, and voila, here is my microsite. I can access to the space board, and now I can actually start to create base pages. Let's see if I am already able to select the carriers menu. That's not the case. So I do that rather quickly. This is a little bit more, you need a little bit more knowledge to do that, but once you understand that, it's very, very powerful. So I simply say that, where is the carrier? Here is the carrier menu, voila. So what I want to do now, I want to create a new content. So let's say the base page. I create start your carrier at the green bowl, just some content. I keep that empty. I want to show that on the carriers microsite. Then I also want to provide a menu, and then here I'm able to select the carriers page. I want to publish it immediately, and now I hit save. And now if I open up the visual editor, the carriers microsite opens up, and you see the landing page I just created is appearing here, and I can start to just create content the way I want. For example, like that. That's the demo how you can create a carriers microsite, and you see it took me a couple of minutes to create that, to configure that. If I'm now logging in as an editor, I also see the carriers microsite, and because I have access to that specific space, I'm now able to start editing contents here. Yes, there is a question. Is it possible to connect the calendar with other content planning tools? The question is, what content planning tools do you have in mind? At the moment, there is no standard integration with a content planning tool. Theoretically, it's possible to integrate it with the JSON API of Drupal. Obviously, this needs some integration work on the tool. Yeah. Would be curious what content planning tool you are talking about, Oliver. So now I go back to the presentation. So this was the demo. Yeah. Then, so pricing. We have several models you can start using NodeHive. We offer a SaaS solution where you can start from $150 a month. You can also calculate the pricing yourself on nodehive.com/SaaS pricing. It's the pricing site on nodehive.com. If you have an enterprise project, typically we create a quote for that, especially if you have a lot of spaces, a lot of users, and there are additional questions how to set up, and we are here to help you around that. So you can contact me on lucasfischer@netnode.ch. And also, I said it in the beginning, NodeHive is open source software, so you can self-host it, and it's free. So basically, you can go on GitHub, on our GitHub page, and you will find the backend and also a Next.js frontend Git repository. A good starting point is docs.nodehive.com. If you're unsure which pricing is correct for you, please contact me, and we can check and see how we can help you. I want to highlight a small case study which we are creating now, and it's for a museum here in Switzerland. And we created 3 main websites, including a commerce integration. We provide also digital guides for that museum. So basically, every exhibition, they create their own space. Space in this case is a digital guide. And they already created, since its launch, 12 digital guides. And that's very powerful because everything is run from one backend. They have lots of users, lots of editors assigned, finely grained, assigned to the specific space they are able to edit. So it's easy to use for them as well. What's interesting about this solution, we integrated Drupal commerce. So there is a full commerce integration created, which then again is connected to a point of sale system. So we have to make sure that tickets that are sold offline on the cashier and the point of sale system is in line with the ticket sales we have online, for example, for guided tours on the exhibition side. And everything is possible with NodeHive as a backend.